If you know you are ready to finally hand in that resignation letter that's been sitting in your top drawer for the last few months, you know, the one that you're praying none of your coworkers come in and open and see and inadvertently out you, that one. Or my business owner who's you're sitting on that email that you've been meaning to send to clients for the last few months, letting them know that you're on to your next endeavor, but you're still holding on. If you know that you are ready to let go of that, I invite you to keep listening to this video. I got some sending some support your way. But hey, I'm Alex Davis. If you haven't been in my world, I am known as the Olivia Pope of Financial Clarity. I work with women business owners to get clear on their next steps. So situations that I just talked about is not happening with you. Getting clear with your finances and owning and being empowered to actually stand in your purpose and live the life that you've been called to live, not the one that your family told you you were allowed to have, not the one that you believed you wanted 5 or 10 years ago. Y'all, we've been through a pandemic and we have gone through an awakening like none other. You are not the same. And if we continue to try and operate and fit ourselves in the box that we had, we're going to continue waking up in the middle of the night, can't sleep, thinking like, why am I still doing this? This is not what I'm called to do. Or being agitated, frustrated, overwhelmed, burnt out. You fill in the blank. But bottom line is, I help women get clear with their finances so they actually are feeling calm, at peace, excited, empowered, purpose filled, joyful, those types of things. And I genuinely believe it's possible. And you know it's possible too. That's why you've written the letter. That's why you've started the email. And now it's time to do something about it. But I spent over 13 years in the financial space. And over this time, I've accumulated, yes, the knowledge because I'm also a CPA and certified financial planner. But just in my own journey in entrepreneurship, I realized as high achievers, especially you know us, we check the boxes. We are generational curse breakers. We are the ones who are doing the things that, quite frankly, no one probably thought we would. Hell, we probably counted ourselves out. And here we are, we've accumulated and achieved so many things. And then we get to a space where, like, either it's not enough, I want more. And it might feel like it's selfish. Like, who are you to want that? Or you realize, oh, wow, I just built all this and I don't want it. Can you relate? Can you relate? Please let me know in the comments. Can you relate to that? And so, because of my own journey, I started looking at finances completely different, and how I approach working with women has changed for this very reason. And if you are sitting on that resignation letter and you know, oh, it's time, or you know, it's time to transition away from the clients that, yeah, you've made a lot of money, you've supported them, and it's been great. But now you know, I'm in a new season. It's pivot season, and you really wanted to pivot and be with purpose and not hurt your money and your profits. I'm going to share with you 3 areas that now, when I work with clients, we focus on this. So that way, we don't get lost in the sauce. We don't allow that negative talk that comes up anytime we're doing something new that we haven't done before to come up and derail us. And I'm going to share these things with you because I don't think it's always talked about. Because most of my clients, we think, oh, I just have to have more money. I just have to save more. I just have to fill in the blank. But it's always usually something financial. That was me. That was me when I left my corporate job, my 6-figure career as a tax manager in public accounting. I was climbing up the ranks, and I'm a single mom. So for me to be like, you know what? No, my life is so much bigger than this. I need to do something else. It was scary. And when I left, I thought it was all about, oh, I've got the money. I saved over $24,000 in a year specifically for my exit fund, and I paid off over $50,000 in debt. And I thought that that was going to be enough. But oh, baby, it was not. It was not. And you may be on here listening and feeling like, ooh, I'm feeling that. I understand that. Because when you actually sit and start thinking about it, it's like, is there ever enough money in your bank account for you to be like, oh, I'm good now? Typically not. It's an internal game. And this is why when I started working with clients, I no longer only look at the financial strategy. There are a couple other areas. So the first one is yes, we need to have a financial strategy. We need to know your numbers. You need to make sure that you have a strategy in place to where you are keeping more of your money. And I want to say even, and I don't always want to get hung up on the savings and keeping your money, because sometimes there are seasons in your business, in your life, that you have to invest. Because if you sit and try and say, oh no, I just need to save, keep, it stops you from growing. I watched this YouTuber and he says, if your hand is always like this, nothing comes out, right? But nothing gets in either. And so there are seasons where you have to open your hand so that way money goes out. But guess what? Look at all those blessings that now can come in, right? And that's what I have to remind some of my high achievers, my 6 and 7 figure earners, because they're just like, oh my gosh, I didn't make 10K this month. I'm going broke. Well, I can't leave my job now because the business didn't generate 10K this month. It didn't match my corporate salary this month. So what am I going to do? Meanwhile, they forgot they have $200,000 sitting in the bank. That's not a financial strategy. You have the money, literally, probably for a couple years if you manage and cut your expenses right, but you don't feel safe. So yes, we need to have the strategy. Yes, we need to have the savings. Yes, we need to make sure that we have a revenue plan for your business. We need all of these things for sure. So one, you have that. But this takes me into the second thing that you need. You need to know that you are safe regardless. You need to understand that, you know what? Ooh, no matter what's going on around me, I can choose to feel safe. Because here's the gag. Here's the gag. Y'all ready for it? You don't know where you're going to be 30 seconds from now. Why are you so worried about next month when the bills are due? Now, I am not saying this. I'm a financial professional, and I'm not saying this from a blow it all. Absolutely not. But what I'm saying this is from a place of perspective and sometimes a gut check, reality check. We as high achievers, we love to try and control everything. But the minute you realize you don't control anything, there's a level of freedom that you're like, wow, I'm so concerned about, man, if I leave my job today, the one that's draining me, the one that's costing me my peace, my stress, like the one that I'm ready to go, the one that's impacting my health, my relationships. But man, if I leave that and my business doesn't take off next month, I'm gonna be homeless. You go from 1 month, something not going well, to being homeless and on the streets. You skipped a lot of steps. And you just assumed you're going to be alive next month. Come on. I need someone. Throw this in the chat. Like, talk to me. You are telling me that you're so concerned about your health next month, but you don't care about it today. And again, people, I'm not talking to everybody. You know who I'm talking to. I'm talking to the woman who's been in her field for 10, 15, sometimes 20 plus years, that has grown $1 million companies for someone else. The one who knows her stuff backwards and forwards, that you know if you left where you were at, that place would crumble. And yet, you don't have enough trust and faith in yourself, in the divine creator, that you're going to be okay going out on your own. That's who I'm talking to. The one who you've already built a successful business. So you think that it's going to stop with that one? You think when you actually step into your purpose that the stars aren't going to align and things are going to work out for you? You think that's not going to happen? Maybe you do. Maybe you do. And that's why we work on the third thing with my clients. We work on our mindset, money mindset. I do both. Because if your beliefs are jacked up, if you don't believe that you can actually leave that job and create the same amount of success in your own business, guess what? You won't. You're right. If you don't believe that you can pivot into a new business and say, you know what? I'm going to make this one just as great and even better because you've got your full heart and passion behind it. If you don't believe that that's possible, guess what? It's not. And so I don't just work with clients on this strategy. I don't just work with clients to feel safe in their body so that way they can actually hold the desires of their heart. Because if you don't feel that you can have it in your body's going to be like, nope, this ain't safe. This ain't safe. We can't do it. Then I work on the third thing, which is the mindset, the beliefs, the thoughts around what's actually coming up. Because if you don't get a handle on all three of those things, let me tell you what's going to happen. You're going to have money in the bank, but you're not going to trust that you can actually go out and do the thing that you say that you want to do. That's just what's going to happen. That's what's going to happen. I promise you. That's what's going to happen. Or you're going to have no money in the bank, and you're going to be like, I believe I can do it. I believe I can fly. But you're not going to have the finances together. And then when your finances aren't enough or comfortable enough for you, you're going to still sabotage yourself and it won't get done. Like I'm not talking to you about what I heard. I'm talking to you about what I personally experienced and what I personally have witnessed with dozens and dozens of women that I've worked with in a one-on-one capacity. By the way, if any of this is resonating and hitting home with you and you're like, oh my gosh, Alex, that is me. I've been sitting on this letter. I know that I can do great, but I've got some beliefs there and I really need to understand my money to feel comfortable. Go ahead and you can comment below or shoot me a direct message. Let's connect. Because here's what I know about us as high achievers. We know what we're doing. You probably already know the strategy. You probably have a business plan. You have figured out how you're going to do it, all the things, but you aren't doing it. And that is usually the telltale sign that you need a little support. And instead of sitting there and trying to figure it out on your own and push through and figure it out by yourself, my invitation is to get support. So my DMs are open. And Lord, now I got sidetracked. I have mommy brain. But we really have to just get to a spot to where we explore those. You got to have your financial strategy. You must have your mindset together. And you have to feel and be regulated. And I know that nervous system regulation can sound like a little woo-woo, like what? But I promise you, I talked earlier about we can choose to find peace. Like you can genuinely, even if it's for 2 minutes, think about the last time you were genuinely like at peace and just, for me, when I'm on a beach, when I hear those waves going, when I feel the sun shining down on me, when I feel the breeze, I anchor back in. I'm like, ooh. So even when things are flying and going crazy around you, we really have the power to step back into it and get back into peace. And from that space, make the decisions. Because when you are being driven from a space of burnout, stress, anxiousness, all these things, you cannot think clearly. And when those gremlins and self-doubt, their voice is going to be louder than the voice that you know is true because anything you set your mind to, you get it done. That may not get done always on your timeline, but it gets done. And so if you have this vision in your heart, this purpose, this mission, it's because it's possible. And it really is about anchoring back into that vision. And it's so interesting because this is why I love retreat, and this is why I host a retreat. I actually have my next retreat coming up in November. Because when you are used to being the one that everybody comes to, the go-getter, the high achiever, guess what? Guess what happens? People assume you're good. And if you're not, you're operating, you're doing. And unless something really gets in the way and stops and interrupts your pattern of just going and doing, nothing changes. And when you come to a retreat, you have to stop because you're in this sacred container where the only thing that you're focused on is you. The noise is quieted, the phone is put away, the laptop is gone, and you really get to, all you have is you, your thoughts. And it's just so beautiful because so often as high achievers, we're looking out for everyone else. And yet ourselves, that's where we don't get, we're not supported. Um, and so I love retreats. And I haven't, and I'm telling y'all, this this brain of mine, I just get so pumped up when I'm talking about this because I have lived this. And when I support women and we actually look at that triangle. I'm not doing a rock, I'm doing a triangle. It's supposed to be a triangle. That looks better like a triangle. But when we actually focus on those, the beauty of the transformation that happens is not just a one-time fix, and it impacts all the levels of your life. Like I remember working with a client who she came to me, she had 6 figures worth of debt. And aside from just having the shame about it, because it's like, wait a minute, I make all this money. Like, how did I get into this situation? Beating yourself up, choosing not to leave a very toxic job. And I just want to say, when I say this, I'm not saying leave to be lightly and be like, oh, just leave, girl, with no plan. I really want to let you know I'm not saying that, especially with everything going on in the economy and da da da. I'm not saying that. But what I am saying is sometimes we're holding on to things that are slowly killing us because we're afraid to live. And that just is not, that doesn't make any sense to me. Now you may have a different belief system, but if you listening still to this video, you have the same belief system as I do. And it's just about really getting that courage and getting that support to do what you're being called to do and making a plan that feels safe. So that way, also, I'll talk to you about regulating your nervous system. You need to make sure that you're ready, right? But you are ready because you're still listening. But you really want to make sure that you are setting yourself up for that. And so with this client, here she was finally feeling courageous enough to say, you know what, I need help. You know, she's a pillar of her community, the responsible one, the successful one. So to have that lingering in her background, she just felt so much shame about it. So finally, we're talking, and we have her plan. We've mapped out her plan to really get this debt paid off in the next 18 months. Like, cool, cool, cool. But before we could even start executing on the plan, I said, let's actually look at the reason for this debt. Do you know 80% of it was not hers? It wasn't from her. It was because she was helping family, helping friends who would come with a sob story. Oh, I just need help, da 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 da. Now she's sitting with 80 grand of debt that's not even hers, but she's carrying all 100% of the shame, 100% of the responsibility, 100% of the, oh my God, I should have da 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 da, all the things, right? So do you think I just started and stopped with the plan to pay off the debt? Absolutely not. You know what we had to do? We had to look at boundaries. These are beliefs. Oh, if I say no, if I don't say yes, what will they think about me? Well, until you deal with the belief that I don't give a care, watch my mouth. I don't give a care what they say about me. What I know about me is I am helpful, I am loved, I am a lover, I am supportive, I am caring, I am kind. But what I'm not is a fool. And I don't want to say that if you've loaned your money family and help people out that you are a fool. I don't want to say that. But what I'm not doing is, and I'm no longer willing to sacrifice myself for someone else. I am willing to put myself first. I am important. I am worthy. That's what we had to work on. And of course, then, working with me one on one. In those moments where you're feeling a little self doubt, you can call me. And I tell people sometimes you have to borrow someone's confidence. And it doesn't matter how successful you are in certain areas because I have mentors. Because this is, I'm rah, 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 shish kumbah on here. I have my own things that I deal with where I shrink back up to my 7-year-old self and I lose my voice, I lose my power, and I lean on mentorship because sometimes you forget. And you don't forget all the time because most of the time we're living in our higher level self, but there's instances and people and transactions and situations that cause us to shrink. And that's what the beauty of mentorship is. So again, if you are listening to this and it's speaking to you and you know, oh yeah, The money is an area that I need to work on, but I'm ready for someone who sees all of me and supports me with my full picture. Then I'm that mentor. I'm not just a tax person. No. Not just a business coach. No. Not just a life coach. No. Not just a financial planner. No. I'm basically, if all of them had a baby, that would be me. That would be me. Because the thing is I work with legacy builders, generational curse breakers. You don't need the status quo. You know that. The hotel that you stay at. You're not just trying to work within your body. You want the best. I am the best. And therefore, if you're being spoken to and you know that I'm ready, I am ready. I am not going to wait another month, another 2 months, stressing, overwhelmed, losing sleep, gaining weight, stressed, depressed. You fill in the blank, but on the outside looking like I got it all together. You're ready for your inside to match your outside. And I know that because I've been there. And when I tell you there is some magic and power that happens when you start doing the work with the intention of no, I need my inside to match my outside. I'm tired of wearing a mask. And that's where you are. Let's get to work. Let's get to work. But I just want to share those things today. So do not only focus on financial strategy is the point. We have to also focus on what is your mindset? What is your money mindset? Make sure that we're regulating our nervous system. When you get your financial strategy, that mindset together, and your nervous system, unstoppable. And I stand on that. 10 toes down. Let me know what resonated with you. Drop it in the comments. Share this with a friend who needs to hear it. And let me know. It's go time. It's go time. We're in a season that you have to protect you at all costs because you've got people depending on you, but you have to get yourself right. They tell you all the time on the airport, put your oxygen mask on first, and I stand on that. And that's what I'm here to support you do. Put your mask on first, but not just surface level. I'm talking about when you look in the mirror, the person looking back at you, you smile. When you hear your voice, you smile because you are just so in love with yourself and what you're doing. You're not phased. You don't let the little gremlins come up. When things aren't going your way, you feel your feelings. We feel our feelings here, but you don't let it stop you. You pivot. You pivot again if you need to, but you know you have a purpose on you. You have a calling on you, and people are waiting for you. And now you're ready to step into it, and you're just looking for the right mentor. Hi. Again, I'm Alex. So we'll chat. I know. Have an amazing day, night, morning, whenever you see this.